Hello and welcome to Word Essentials for Production Test Review. And this test review is just to give you a quick review, and I won't spend a lot of time explaining why we do it or really how we do it, just simply watching me as I would take the test so you can review. So why don't we get started? When you start the test, you'll be given several documents. One will be an example of the test. So this is an example of what you will need to produce on the laptop. You'll also receive this instructions on how to take the test. This is kind of a step-by-step. So you can see here I have 12 steps. There's 12 kind of different things you'll be asked to do in order to produce this document. And then we simply save the document, and then I review the document online and give you your grade. So why don't we get started, and you'll just get started with a blank document. And I'm going to zoom in here a little bit. If you remember, that's hold down the control key and scroll with your mouse to zoom in and out. And we start here by typing this little phrase. Equals rand, open parentheses 4, comma 4, close parentheses. And then with your cursor right at the end of that, you just simply hit enter. And that generates 4 paragraphs with 4 sentences each. You can change those numbers, but we want to keep this small and simple, so I like 4, comma 4. Well, the first thing you'll be asked to do on this test is to create a title. I would do that by simply putting your cursor at the very top of your document. Hit enter a few times, and we see that we have paragraph marks because in our Home tab we have Show Hide turned on. Well, up here I can click and give it a title name, and I can just make sure I click in that somewhere, and on my styles we need to apply the title style. Now you can do that up here, or you can also open it up with the launcher so that you can see it over here to your right. So over here to the right, I'm going to click on title, and now it's title style, and I'm going to center it, so I just make sure I've clicked in it somewhere and come up here to the paragraph group and click on center. And now it has been centered. The next thing we'll do is create some headers and then apply header style to them. So I'm just asking you to put a few words above each paragraph, and you can see here these are paragraphs 1, 2, 3, 4, and so I just need a sentence up here above the paragraph. Well, to do that you can just hit enter, and that'll give you a new line here where you can make a short paragraph, and you can type anything. This first one I'll make a little bit longer. Learning the quick access toolbar. So that's our header for this paragraph. Now for this next paragraph, let me just show you a quicker way. I can just come in a few words right here and just put my cursor right there and hit enter. And now it gives me the same thing, gives me a few words right up here, and I don't care what these words say. So this might be a quicker way to do it. And right here maybe. Okay? So I've just created some headers here. Now, headers usually don't have a comma, so I'm just going to erase those. There we go. So now I have some headers, and now I want to apply header 1 to the first 2, and then header 2, and then header 3. So I just click on the first header and click on heading 1. The next one, heading 1, off to the far right here. Click here, off to the far right, heading 2, and this last one we're going to call it heading 3. So now I have all of my headers in place. Next we're going to take paragraph number 3 and we're going to make it 2 columns. So here's paragraph number 3. The trick is you just select all of paragraph 3. I did not select the header, just the text. Now at the top, go to your Layout tab, go to Columns, and choose 2 columns. And that's all you have to do. Microsoft Word does all the work for you. And there is your 2 columns. Next, we're going to insert a graphic into the middle of paragraph number 2. So I'm going to put my cursor somewhere in the middle of that paragraph. I'm going to go to Insert because we want to insert a graphic. And in this case, I'm asking for Smart Art. In your test, I might ask for an online picture. But in this case, it's Smart Art. And it doesn't matter which one you use. I'm going to go to Process right here, and then to my first choice, Basic Process, and then say OK. So wherever my cursor is, that's where it entered it. Now it's way too big. So we control the size by grabbing one of these control points and dragging them. Like I can take this side point and I can drag it in. I have to click it a few times here to get it to go. And then I can click this one down. And I could click this one up. And you can see how this works. And get the side and drag it over. I could even get the corner and drag it down like that. Well, now that we have it there, we also want the text to flow around it. You see where I have a big white gap right here? We don't want that. So all I have to do is make sure that I select my Smart Art. And I have to select the outside border. So see the top border here? I need to select that. When I do, now I get my layout options. So click on Layout Options, and I'm going to change it from Inline with Text to Through or Tight. Either one of those work. I'm going to choose Tight. And now I click away, and you see that my text goes around the graphic. Now if I click it again and I click on the border, I can move this anywhere I want. But I want it in the middle, right there. There we go. Okay, next we're going to put in a header and a footer. So let's go to the top. This is the header, the top section, and this is the footer at the very bottom, way down here. Well, up here in the header, we want to put the date. Well, to put the date up here, one way to do it is just double click. Double click way up here in the footer. It activates the footer. It deactivates down here. See how this is all grayed out? And up here it's not, okay, because I'm in the header. And when I'm in the header, I automatically get header and footer tools. And now we just need to find where we can put in the date. And over here under Insert Group is Date and Time. And I just choose the date and time I want. I don't care which one you do. Say OK. And there it is. Now how do I get out of here? Just come down here and go click, click. Just click, click down here and it'll take you out. Now what about the footer? How do I put the page number in the footer? Well, I'm show you another way. You can go to Insert and then come all the way over here to Page Number. I'm going to insert a page number and I can choose top or bottom. When I choose bottom, I can choose the style. I'm going to choose this style here called Accent Bar 1, and it just puts it in there for me. So very easy. We have a date in the header and a page in the footer. I'm going to double click to get out of it up here. Click, click, and now I'm out of it. Next, you need to add some tab stops. And tab stops, if you remember, are something we put up here in the ruler to stop our cursor every time we hit tab. So we need to make a left, a middle, and a right. So we come all the way to the top right in this corner, and this is where we change our tab stops. Now if I hover over it with my mouse, we see that it says left tab. So currently I can make a left tab. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to take my cursor and I put it over here in the ruler and it gives me an arrow. And if I click in this gray thin bar down here, the gray thin bar, if I click in it, it gives me a left tab. Now here's the trick. To change it to a middle, I just click it once. And now it's a middle. So I'm going to go over here and make a middle, just somewhere over here. Don't have to be precise. And now I need a right tab over here. I click it one more time, come over here and click it. Click. And now I have a right tab. Now I come over here in the thin gray bar and click right. And so now I have a left, a middle, and a right. So where did it create these tabs? It created them right here where the cursor is blinking, right in this line. If I go up here, my tab stops disappear. If I click back here in this line, they come back again because they only exist in the line that I created them, this line right here. So how do I use it? Well, I just hit tab on my keyboard and it stops me at the left tab stop. I'm going to type the word left. Then I'm going to hit tab again and it stops me at the middle. And I'm going to type middle. And now I'm going to hit tab again and it stops me at the right. Now, you could make regular left tab stops here, here, and here, but these are special tab stops because middle or center, it centers it. It's in the middle of this tab stop. And this tab stop is right justified. And so when I type, it comes out this way as I type because it's right justified. So these are special kind of tab stops that control the alignment of the text. Well, the next thing I do is ask you to make all of these 14. So I'm going to select them all and change the font size to 14. And I'm asking you to take the middle and change it to strong style. So I just select it like this, just click in it, come over here to the far right and find strong and just click it. And it changes it to the strong style, which in this case is actually smaller. It's only font size 11, but that's the strong. Next, we need to create a few bullets. If my cursor's over here, I can hit enter to go down. But you can also take your cursor and just double click anywhere you want to be. I'm going to just take my cursor over here and go click, click. And it just puts me right here. So now I want to create a few bullets. Well, to create bullets, first let's type the word bullets because that's part of the test. Bullets. And then I'm going to hit enter. Now, to create bullets, all I have to do is go to my Home tab and find the Bullets button. Now sometimes on the test I ask for numbers. It's the same thing, just click on numbers right here. But in this case it's bullets. Simply click bullets, it starts making bullets, and then you can just type item 1, enter, item 2, enter, and item 3, enter. Well, I don't need to say enter, so I'm going to hit backspace on my keyboard. Backspace. It's in the top right of your keys. There we go. Now I'm out of that. Okay, there's only one thing left to do before we make our table of contents, and that's we're going to create some text effects. So hit enter, backspace to get rid of the bullet, and now just type done. And with your cursor in the word done, and then you want to select the whole word done because we're going to add some text effect to the whole word. And we come up here to the Home tab, Font group, and right here this fancy looking A is called Text Effects. We click the little drop arrow and we can choose any text effect. I'm going to choose this one. Now, to make it look like the test, I do want to center it. So make sure it's selected. It's selected right now. Now, the next thing we need to do is create some text effects down here at the bottom. Now you can see I don't have a lot of room down here. I can hit enter right here to go down here. It might create another bullet. I could hit backspace to get rid of that bullet. I'll hit backspace a couple times. If you need some more room, you can come up to the top and maybe delete some of these lines. I'm going to delete one of those lines there. Now, the next thing we need to do is create some text effects, and you can see that I don't have a lot of room down here, but I mean, I could still click down here and get to it. If you hit enter, it'll want to make another bullet, and then you can hit backspace a couple times. Just a reminder, if you're right here, you can double click and it will just take you down here. If you don't think you have enough room down here, if you're running out of room, you can always scroll to the top and you could delete some extra lines if you have them. That's okay. So I'm just going to come down here and type the word done. And then you want to highlight that word to add the text effects. So to highlight the word, an easy way is to double click. And then go to text effects. Choose any of these. Now you might want to make it a little bigger and center it. So while it is still selected, I might come over here and change the font size to maybe like 20. And then come over here and click on center in the paragraph group. And now we're done with that. And the word is done, isn't it? Well, it's selected right now, isn't it? So you just click away and it won't be selected anymore. Okay, the very last thing we're going to do is to create a table of contents as seen in the example. Let's take a look at that example again. Here it is. You see, the table of contents is on its own page. Here's the page we've been working on. And here's the table of contents on this other page. So really, we need to create a new page to put the table of contents on. So don't let this trip you up too much. It's not really that hard. Let's go back to our document here. I'm going to zoom out a little bit, hold down the control key and zoom with my mouse. I'm going to scroll up here to the top, and we need to create a new page. Maybe I want Merit Medical on the front page. Maybe I don't. I don't care where this title is. If it's on page 1 or page 2, I don't care. But let's go to the very top of this and let's create a new page. And there's two ways to do that. I can go to Layout and something called Breaks, and I can insert a page break. But there's also a shortcut that I like. Put your cursor here at the very top, and we can just simply hold down the control key and hit enter. Now, if you remember, hitting enter moves you down. Hitting control enter creates a whole new page. So I'm going to hold down my control key and hit enter. And you can see here it created a whole new page up here at the top. In fact, because I'm on my home tab and my show hide is turned on, you can see it created a page break. If this is turned off, then you can't see it. But I'm going to turn it back on. So basically it's saying at the beginning of this page, break and go to a new page. Well, I need room to put my table of contents right here. So I'm going to go right here to the side of it and just go enter, 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 enter. I'm just moving this down so I have some room up here to put my table of contents. So I just click in here and go enter, enter to push this down. Now right here or right here, I can put my table of contents. Well, since we already created our headers, this is easy. This only works if you've already given these heading styles. Heading 1, heading 1, heading 2, heading 3. You need some heading styles. Well, I've already done that. So I can come here. All I have to do is go to References, Table of Contents, and choose one of these. Number 1 or number 2. Number 1 or number 2. I'm going to choose number 2. And it just puts it in automatically for me. And you can see my headers are the same as my headers here. It put it in for me. Well, now I'm going to zoom out a little bit, hold down my control key and scroll with my mouse. And there you have it. We've completed the assignment with everything done. I hope that helps. You're welcome to watch this as many times as you need to. Good luck.